Welcome back to The Evil Within. This is chapter 5 of our Akumu run. This is a new game Akumu run. We're working on getting the You Asked For It achievement. We'll also be tracking the Every Nook and Cranny and Master of Unlocking achievements as we go along.
Wait a minute. It's another trap. Look.
Now this battle coming up is ranked as the number 5 rage quit point for Akumu. So I really only know what the top 5 are. And this is kind of the first make it or break it battle that you're going to face. It is a beast. And there is no mistaking it's a beast. That is almost a required maneuver there. You need to place that right in front of Joseph. The reason you do that is because you can't get down here and you can't save Joseph. You need him to survive that first encounter with him. This is also another hard area. Those guys coming out of there, they will bum rush you in a heartbeat. They come from there, and as soon as those are taken care of, they will come from here. And I'm wasting ammo there, missing basically. The good news is that you know if you're watching it, I'm not going to die. We're going to get through this. Even Joseph's going to get through it. If Joseph dies, you lose as well. We're presenting the whole run as if there were no deaths, as you won't ever see us die on camera. So you are seeing every scene the way we saw it when we got through it. Kind of crucial to this battle is knowing those first 3 areas where they're going to come from, and then being prepared and knowing where they're going to come from next. Like that guy is always going to come out of that area next. Something I'm not doing a great job of, but I'm starting to right now, is to get near Joseph, but stand behind him. He's going to be looking in whatever direction something's going to be coming from. By standing behind him, you can often make it to where they first see him, and then they will be focused on going to him. And now I'm wasting very expensive ammo there. Flashbang just kind of pause him, just to kind of give myself a chance to not be hit by dynamite while we get resurfaced. What I would say a good strategy would be is you have to know those first 3 areas where they're going to come from first, and then between each wave get near Joseph, but try to stay behind him so that they see Joseph first. That will force them to kind of focus on Joseph instead of rushing directly towards you. By doing that, I mean, you're a one-hit kill. So you may be used to playing this where Joseph is the weak link and you're having to save Joseph all the time. It turns out here you're the weak link because all they have to do is breathe on you and you're going to die. So, and you see I used an awful lot of expensive ammo there. Bolts, some shotgun shells. I'm using almost exclusively the crossbow.
Is that it?
The last ones are going to come out of that hole over there. But the goal is to take care of those first 3 waves. Then try to be near Joseph so that when anything comes out, it sees him first, and then separate from Joseph so that there's some distance between you two. And as they go for Joseph and are focusing on them, that will give you a moment to protect him by shooting them. Here again, I'm using expensive bolts. Explosive bolts cost 4 parts a piece, and the freezy bolts cost 5. So I decided at this point that they weren't actually going to come if I didn't come back down here. So I liked my vantage point up there. The flashbangs work really well. Even these guys die if you get to them in time. At this point, if you haven't upgraded your flashbangs enough, you might not have time to get to too many of them, so just be careful. Make sure you understand how long you actually have. Interesting, I came up in front of him, but it gave me the back thing.
got dynamite.
But see, now if I had been back here with Joseph, they would have seen Joseph. They'd be focused on him. Let him shoot them. The guys with the dynamite, really all you need them is for them to... Whoa. Wow. That was close. I'm glad he didn't have that in his hand at the time. I don't know whether Joseph shot the dynamite or we shot the dynamite, but that was lucky. I don't know why it didn't hurt him, though. You would think a stick of dynamite going off in your hand would at least knock you down. See how fast they get up on Akumu. They're fast, they're aggressive, and they don't stay on the ground very long when you knock them down. Okay, so I can't say run to those places that we ran to, but that was kind of the strategy I was trying to emulate, was to get through those first 3 waves. Put that first explosive bolt down. That seemed to be almost necessary. There's a gimmick. If you don't know where to put it, you can shoot it on Joseph before the battle, before he even gets knocked down there. It doesn't hurt him. It'll just stick on his chest. I didn't want to do that. It felt too much like a gimmick, so... Shoot your explosive bolt down there, where that'll get him through that first, because he's going to get bum rushed by 5 or 6 of them, and you need that to not kill him. Once he gets through that, they're going to come through that back door. I call it back door, the part that was under the balcony. Then they're going to come from the side over there where the pipes go out of the cage and go in there. They're going to come out of there. If you can handle those first 3 areas, then after that, try to be near Joseph, but try to stand behind him so that they see Joseph and are focused on him. Once the wave is actually in motion, try to get away from Joseph so that you don't take collateral damage. The dynamite in this is terribly, terribly dangerous. Dynamite in Akumu has a much larger blast radius, and, you know, if you just get hit by the dust from the blast, that will kill you. So just remember that now on Akumu, Joseph is stronger than you. Try to get them to focus on Joseph as much as you can. But you can't leave... Joseph's not strong enough. You can't just leave him alone. The idea is to just deflect them to where they're not rushing straight at you, but where they're rushing at Joseph. But then you have to keep them off of Joseph. There's a room up there that I didn't go into. There's nothing in it, but that's where some of them come out of. I didn't know there was an actual room that you could go into up there for a long time. I did at this point, but there's nothing up there. There's nothing to get. So you have all the time in the world, even though it seems like Kidman's drowning. You have all the time in the world to do all this collection, run around the whole field, see everything, pick everything up, and then go. Once you start the conversation with Joseph, then you have a limited amount of time to finish it. Time goes much faster in Akumu than it does in survival. However, you've got plenty of time. So, and right now you've got infinite amount of time. You can go around, you can build crossbow bolts, you can do whatever equipping you need to do that you feel you need for the next parts. That battle is ranked number 5 in the place that people rage quit playing the Akumu challenge. It's overwhelming, and it took us a long time to come up with to remember, okay, deal with them. First you figure out a way to deal with the people that are going to attack Joseph, and then okay, they're going to come out the back, and okay, how am I going to deal with that? And then they're going to come out the side. How do I deal with that? And just one after the other. There's almost always somebody that I forget where they are, like the guy that ran up behind him, and of course that's dangerous. Yeah. So there's a certain amount of luck that might be required. Like I got very lucky at that time that the guy didn't have dynamite in his hand, that he didn't explode when he got near me.
We're running out of time.
That Joseph or I shooting the dynamite in the guy's hand didn't hurt us. It didn't hurt him either, but oddly, but it didn't hurt us, which is good. Now you'll see that the bar, the water rises on Kidman faster, but it's still not. You know, as long as you go directly there, you're fine. I don't suggest dealing with the zombies in the cages, and better if you'd exploded those before. You would really like him to not throw that dynamite. The dynamite to blow up over there.
Kidman's in trouble.
You can use the axe. You do have to be a little bit careful. If you watched the Quick and the Dead runs, you see I got up here and I went to hit this guy with the axe. And when I went to hit him with the axe, it actually swung with the guy in the cage. So I decided not to risk it here. I decided I'd just use the handgun, try to shoot him in the legs, knock him down. It's almost better if you let him get knocked down when he has lit the dynamite, so that then the dynamite explodes on him. But I was just nervous about the whole thing. Just blink him away, get him out of the way. You see that we're not moving particularly fast, and we've still got what, 2/3. The water's about 2/3 of the way up, so plenty of time.
It's got the same kind of dials, right?
Yeah, a top one and a bottom.
Okay, we've been talking about the lore, and we've been talking about how
22.
the stem is connecting everybody subconsciously, that Ruvik at the center is trying to gain enough power by harvesting bioelectrical energy from the people that are connected to the stem. He's going to use that power to try to overcome Leslie. That Leslie has two kind of key components. He has one key component that makes him makes his brainwaves synchronize with Ruben Victoriano very easily. So Ruvik wants to overcome his defenses and download
Joseph
Ruben,
Kidman.
his own consciousness, into Leslie so that he can get back out of the stem. Leslie's other primary uniqueness is that he has suffered so much trauma in his life that he's been able to compartmentalize his consciousness. So he can pull his consciousness into a construct within his mind. That construct in his mind becomes a sanctuary where he can hide from Ruben, Ruvik at the center of STEM. He does this, it looks like Beacon Hospital. Because believe it or not, that's a place where he's felt safe. He's not been specifically traumatized by much there other than STEM. But by the time he was traumatized by STEM, he already had the ability to construct his sanctuary and get away from it. He has pulled Sebastian into his sanctuary in chapter 1 as they were going over the cliff. He was afraid that Sebastian might die, thinking he was going to die as the ambulance is crashing over a cliff, because that would be kind of a normal reaction to falling off a cliff in an ambulance. He also saw strength and the way people were deferring to Sebastian, and thought that maybe Sebastian could be his knight in shining armor, his protector. So he pulled him into a sanctuary to keep him safe in chapter 1. In chapter 2, he then used his watchdog, his gatekeeper, his Leslie's own construct. You can tell that Tatiana is a construct. She doesn't have a full personality. She only kind of clinically responds to things as a nurse. But she is who Leslie had kind of an emotional attachment to from his time at Beacon Hospital, because she was compassionate, and so he saw the goodness in her.
Hang on, I'm coming.
Creates her as a construct that will then vet Sebastian and determine whether Sebastian would be a good candidate to be the protector of Leslie. Leslie's hoping, he's making a gamble. He's pulled Sebastian into a sanctuary, which makes his sanctuary a lot noisier and a lot more noticeable to Ruvik. He's done this as a gamble that Sebastian will eventually truly save him, so that he won't have to hide anymore, that he will be able to, he'll be saved by Sebastian. That's costing Leslie a great deal, because now he can't just go to his sanctuary and hide, because the noise of subconscious Sebastian being there is just too much for him. So Leslie's having to run around in this world. But because he's so strong, some of his consciousness is feeding through as well, and so he's able to construct things like the sanctuary. In chapter 2, as Sebastian's running up towards Elk River Village, Leslie sends Tatiana to one of the outbuildings and shows Sebastian how to get back to the sanctuary. So Sebastian is now freely invited and can use mirrors to go in and out of the sanctuary.
Joseph!
Later on in chapter 2, Tatiana gives him the keys to the back rooms. Those back rooms where the lockers are, behind the desk in the lobby. That's an area that Leslie would not normally have been able to know about, to know how it was constructed. So he's not constructing that. He's told Tatiana, show Sebastian how to open a door and create his own sanctuary. And Sebastian has subconsciously created his own sanctuary in the back rooms of Leslie's sanctuary. That back room is you can tell it's different from Leslie's because it's not as clinical. It's more like a police station than Beacon Hospital. It has a war room with a map on the wall. Those are the map fragments that you're picking up and building. That's you putting your world back together. It also has police evidence lockers. People have called those morgue lockers. They're not big enough for morgue lockers. They're about the size of an evidence locker. And you see what comes out of them. You see ammo come out of them. Basically, police type stuff that would be in a police evidence locker. It's not like the armory of a police station. But it's police lockers. So what you find in there, you don't find an arsenal. You find some ammunition that was left over. But Tatiana showed him how to create that part of the sanctuary by opening the door for him and letting him fill that area, if you will, with his own subconscious idea of what might be behind the counter in the lobby. And she's shown him how to collect keys and how to use those keys to open the evidence lockers and get ammunition, to get resources to help him get through this. That was her vetting Sebastian, saying, you're a worthy candidate to be Leslie's protector. Here, let me help you. So all of that back in the hospital is Leslie has initiated all of that. I don't know why I chose to use a handgun here. That's a little risky there. Yeah, use a shotgun, knock them down, burn them. See how fast they get up. They're usually standing by the time I get the match lit. It still kills them, so that still counts. Okay, so then what is this green gel? This green gel is the bioelectrical energy that Ruvik is trying to harvest from the poor souls that are connected to the stem. When the Wi-Fi version
Sebastian!
of the stem went online, because Dr. Jimenez turned it on, that pulled in hundreds of people, a full city block or more around the Beacon Hospital. And Ruvik is using that. He's using their bioelectrical energy. He's draining them, creating these husks of people. Occasionally you see a husk has a little bit of residual bioelectrical energy left over. Sebastian sees that as green goo. I don't know why he sees it as green goo, but that's just the form his subconscious has decided to take for the bioelectrical residue that's left behind. He uses that inside
like
the sanctuary construct of Leslie.
Sebastian, maybe we can lift
Leslie
this
has
enough for
put
Kidman to go
a chair
under
where
and
he's
open it
probably
from the
been
other side.
subjected
We're counting on
to
you.
right.
electroshock therapy. He's put that in the sanctuary to remind him that the world's not a safe place and to stay in the sanctuary. Sebastian sees this chair in a hospital and thinks, oh, well, this is a way of getting therapy. And so he's applying he gives the green gel to the chair gives him the ability to make himself powerful. So Sebastian, it's now an arms race between Sebastian and Ruvik. Is Ruvik going to get strong enough to overcome Leslie, or is Sebastian going to get strong enough to overcome Ruvik? And which one's going to happen first?
We should go.
And so we're in an arms race with green gel. Okay, so we kind of now have a
glad you're
full
both
construct of how the world's being
It's
created.
odd, though. Why would they catch you instead of just killing you?
What the goals are of the people in there. The tragedy is that Sebastian doesn't yet understand what's going on. So he's having a hard time distinguishing, well, what's reality? Is this reality? Is the sanctuary reality? Or either one reality? And it takes him the whole game to pull it all together. So unfortunately, he doesn't know the cost of what Leslie's providing him. I don't think he ever even knows, or really truly understands that was given to him by Leslie, nor the responsibility he has to Leslie for having survived this whole ordeal. So, and you see that every time our three cast of characters, Joseph, Kidman, and Sebastian, get together, Ruvik separates them almost immediately.
Wedding invitation. Detective Sebastian Castellanos and Detective Myra Hansen joyfully request the pleasure of your company at their wedding celebration. Saturday, the 17th of September, 2005, at 12:30, the Veranda Hotel, Crimson City. Reception to follow.
So, another key point that I want to touch on are the documents.
Sebastian,
Inside the lobby here,
have you forgotten something?
you get some overlap between what Leslie provides and what Sebastian provides.
Missing. Fernando Cabrera. Psychiatric patient escaped from Beacon Mental Hospital. He is seriously ill in need of constant supervision. Missing parishioner found in mental hospital. These claims are absolutely outrageous. Parishioner Fernando Cabrera, missing for 8 years, found committed in Beacon Mental Hospital. Claims parish was cult.
What he finds here in the lobby are his subconscious tying events that are happening inside the stem with old news articles, old file cases that are helping him maybe piece together the mystery of what's actually going on. It's not real coherent, and it's not like, hey, look at this. It's more like, remember this person's gone missing. You just found this person in here. Some people are dying. When you die, you wind up on a missing persons poster, or just before you die, sometimes you wind up on a missing persons poster. Just not good. That's kind of Leslie and Sebastian cooperating, their subconsciouses kind of cooperating, trying to give Sebastian the information he needs. Whether or not he picks up on it and puts it all together or not, that's a risk. I think this time I'm not sure if we have enough goo. We'll probably upgrade something. Gonna do the shotgun damage. It seemed like it was good for knocking things down, but not killing them. So go back to the handgun, beef it up a little bit. A lot of people go for the critical hit, and that's probably the smarter choice than just pure power. I though know that I'm not good at hitting heads, so an added chance of killing something instantly when you hit it in the head isn't any good if you don't even aim at the heads. So I thought I would go with power first. As we come back through the mirror, I totally missed a map fragment right there on the left, painted in red for you. Don't worry, we'll get it in a follow-on video after we complete the entire game run. Okay, so we've discussed the documents, the kind of ties. If you notice, just before you go into a sanctuary, that's when you find personal documents. And those personal documents are placed at the gateway of the sanctuary. They're placed at the point where Sebastian can go back to the sanctuary by his subconscious to try to remind him who he is and what core values he has and what's critical to him, what's important to him, who he is, to help ground him and help him find himself again. The other documents, like you would have seen in yesterday's episode, the first part of Chapter 5, are often left there by the subconscious of Ruvik or whoever's constructed the area. Like yesterday, we were in an area where we were seeing a lot of Ruben's glimpses of early age Ruben and his research as we would look through the little holes in the doorless room. Those documents are often, like they were yesterday, they will be centered around giving you some insight into Ruvik. I think of that as the sense that the stem, it's not that Ruben or Rubik is the only consciousness there. He's just more conscious than everybody else. And everybody else's subconscious is doing something. Well, you can't connect your minds without giving some away. You can't, it's partially a two-way street. So throughout the storyline, we will see Sebastian find letters and documents from various different people, usually Ruvik, almost exclusively Ruvik, I guess. And that gives him an insight into, and us as the player playing Sebastian, insight into what Ruben was thinking when he was creating all this and how he feels about what's been done to him. The amount of rage and hate that he has for the people that have forced Ruben to become Ruvik. This is an interesting tripwire. The way this works is it's not explosive like a lot of tripwires are. It will cause spikes to go up. And if those spikes come up, I was hoping I could pull this, and I stepped too far. My goal was to try to draw them out and maybe trap them there that way, but they're back there on the right in another room. They're not coming out. I thought, well, I can catch them with the trap because I tripped the trap. I could catch them with fire, but they won't come out unless you walk up there, and they have to actually see you. And one thing you could do is you could, yeah, that was me just assuming that he would be behind me, but he had stopped for some reason as soon as machete back there. I'm not sure why. And it did work for her. So she's the more dangerous of the two. I mean, well, he can be very dangerous if you don't know he's there and you walk up close to that doorway, because he'll hit you before you can get pulled away. But if you walk up kind of on your left there, she's the more dangerous because she's faster. Okay, so I think through, you know, what now, this is the seventh episode. We've established the beacon, hospital, sanctuary, the bioelectrical vampireness, and what the green gel is, and things like that. So I want to maybe spend some time talking about the different characters. We've already spent a lot of time talking about Ruben, but I guess so. Let's just kind of make a brief summary of what Ruvik/Ruben is. So Ruben, as a little boy, was pretty clearly a sociopath. Zero empathy, zero understanding of what other people might be feeling or thinking. He was tethered to the real world basically by his older sister Laura, who, you know, saw him as her little brother and loved him and took care of him. And this is Laura in this weird world. The one kind of contradiction that always stands out to me is that Ruben seemed to be wanting to create a stable world where Laura could exist, where he could pull her out of the ether of his memories and make her corporeal, not quote unquote in the real world outside, but inside STEM, where she could be an actual his friend, and they could live there. You see in the last episode, he was looking for a way to where he could just stay indefinitely inside STEM. This is, of course, prior to him becoming the CPU of STEM. he's in there kind of indefinitely now, but that wasn't exactly what he was thinking of or dreaming of. He was dreaming of creating a world where he could live the life that he was supposed to live. He could experience what he was supposed to experience. You see that I shot that and it looks like it broke the statue, but it didn't. So the only thing I can say about this is you have to be a little bit careful. Try to shoot it. Don't shoot it against the wall to your left, because if you shoot it against the wall to the left or against the wall in the back, sometimes that statue falls outside of an area that you can get to, and so the key is just gone. So try not to do that. Try to shoot them on the right as they're moving towards the left. This is the first time not the first time you encounter Laura, but this is the first time you actually have to battle Laura. You saw that we burned her here. I know what's coming up, so I'm going to go save so that if I don't survive it, there's a nice place for me to cut in. Kind of a director's note on how the videos were made. I worked very hard to be able to present this to you seamlessly, where there aren't these jagged cut scenes. That means that there are areas that I have to do start to finish, long sections sometimes. But when I get the opportunity, like here, I can go back to the sanctuary, and whether I do anything here or not, I mean, I've picked up some goo. I might check to see if there's some goo. I picked up a key. I just got a key, so I'll probably open a locker. But there's not really a whole lot of reason for me to come back at this point. Normally I wouldn't come back at this point. But what it does provide me is a save location. A lot of times I can't use the auto saves to cut back in to keep the video flowing seamlessly, because it's almost impossible to go to the right cut location, stand in exactly the right spot with the camera at exactly the right angle, such that when you come back from loading an autosave it's seamless. The mirror transitions, however, go through a white screen, a complete white screen. So I can come back to the sanctuary if there's something I can take care of, pick up documents. I have 9700 goo, but I just decided to I just upgrade, so nothing more. I'll save, and then as I go back, I go through a white wipe screen, a pure white screen in the mirror. And so it may seem like I'm coming back here a lot. Part of it's to help you YouTube viewers get a better seamless view of the world. Because that white screen, you don't know how many times now I went back and I reloaded that manual save and came through the white screen. To you, I just did it once. I can't remember how many times I actually did it. I know that I don't kill Laura on the first run. Laura kills me several times. Because you find things out as you come in here. One thing I'll note that's different about this Laura encounter in Akumu than in survival is that the levers that you pull in the rooms that open the doors and with the flames below them, where you would normally trap Laura, dump her in those. You can only pull those levers once. In survival, you can pull them as many. It takes a little while to reset, but once it resets, you can pull it again. In Akumu, you pull it once, it's done. You can never pull it again. So every time you pull it and you don't get her, that was a completely wasted effort. And like if you don't hear her scream, you didn't catch her. Oh, so it did catch her. I guess it just took it a while. Now what the tactical plan for this battle is to, if you can catch her in the rooms, catching her in the room seems to do the most damage. After that, every time you hear her scream, run to a body. Find a body, go to that body, light it on fire. Now, sometimes you get unlucky like that where she stepped away from the body before you could get to it. And you have to be really quick on those switches. She's really fast, but sometimes that leads to being too fast and being ahead of her. But you see, I caught her with both those rooms, so that's good. Now I'm sitting here with the bee up where I can burn this body. As soon as she shows up with the bee, you got to learn that timing. That timing is going to be crucial to this chapter as well as chapter 10. You really need to be able to do that. And here I've lost a body, so now she's free somewhere. If I catch her coming around a corner before she sees me and gets too aggressive, I can burn her. And then there's a body here, so I will catch her again. One thing I found is she kind of pops out of the body. She pops out a little ways from in the body. Turn towards, like as you're hitting the bee, as the animation is going, turn towards her, and he'll still drop the match, and you're much more likely to catch her. And that was all it took. So as long as you get that timing down, now it took me a long time to get that timing down. So, but I didn't acquire that skill on Akumu. I acquired it when we were trying to get the. There's an achievement for killing her in chapter 10, and when we were trying to get that achievement, that's when I acquired that ability. And I'm still kind of flaky at it. Sometimes it works, sometimes I miss. You got to see a run where I never missed, so yay. Okay, so back to Ruben. Ruben's basically a little sociopath boy. It's something that you might be able to train out of a young man, but unfortunately, the Elk River villagers, torch a barn while he and Laura are playing inside. The fire kills Laura and horribly mutilates him. That's why when you do see him in later episodes, you'll see him up close, and he's burnt, and lots of his skin is missing. I think he even has a part of his skull is missing. He has a skull cap on. So he's horribly disfigured. His father then shoves him, this poor little sociopath who has lost his only tether to the real world, shoves him into a basement and locks him away. Tells his mother he died in the fire too, even though his mother can hear him crying at night. He basically goes from being just a sociopath to being a paranoid. It's not schizophrenic. He's not split personality, but he goes completely nuts in the basement. Still a sociopath with little empathy.
Subject's case history cites developmental delays. Indicates issues with communication, social cognition, repetitive behaviors. Signs of synesthesia reported. Genealogy suggests increased susceptibility to external stimuli. Pattern adaptiveness. Could you be what I've been searching for all these years? And under my own nose. Unbelievable. There can be no mistake. This one is compatible.
That's when Ruben, the cloaked person there, when Ruben realized that Leslie was compatible with him, and that he could.
In the hell?
I think this is supposed to represent his brain, Ruben's brain, basically Ruben, the actual physical, what's left of Ruben at the Ghost in the Shell. That's the physical part of Ruben that's left in Stim. Here again, your goal is to knock them down and pull the cords out of their head, just like in the Matrix, just like in the back of Neo's brain. The similarity to the Matrix is just too consistent with the movie to doubt that was intentional. I mean, that's just the Matrix right there. So you just unplug this person. By unplugging that person, they're no longer contributing to the system. I got incredibly lucky to have them trapped against the bathtub like that. You have to be very careful that flailing around that they'll do. If that hand touches you, you die. It's just as simple as that. All right, well, that's chapter 5. We're gonna on the lore. We're gonna start focusing on the villains and the heroes of the game, and we hope you've enjoyed this episode. We'll see you in tomorrow's episode where we'll start chapter 6. Thanks for watching.